He is, of course, the legend, the man himself, Alan Brazil from talkSPORT. Mr. Brazil, a very good morning to you.
Hiya, Mike. How are you? You okay?
I'm very well indeed. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I was hoping you might be in person, but you're obviously you're stuck there in the wilds of Suffolk. How is it up there?
It's lovely. We've had extraordinary rain. Normally Suffolk is probably the driest county in the UK. Maybe down in I don't know, maybe Cornwall. It's either Cornwall or Suffolk.
Yeah.
But just lately, like everyone else, with battering down. But to be honest, Mike, we needed it. But in saying that, with all the problems in the world and all the corona problems, we are, touch wood, I'm not far from the Essex border here, but we, touch wood, are okay.
Yeah.
And the hospitals are coping very well.
That's good, because you're also, of course, a fair distance from London. I don't know how often you get into London these days, but I mean, it's a bit of a ghost town at the moment, which is sad to see, isn't it?
No, it is. I was in last week. Had no problem getting in, but the problem being is there's nowhere open. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We obviously where we are, we're near the Shard, and I'm looking at the beautiful view behind you, St Paul's.
Yeah.
Bow Lane is near there, where I used to go regular. There's no point now, Mike.
No
point at all.
And I mean, Canary Wharf is Canary Wharf, I'm told, is practically empty. I mean, some people have gone back to work, but hardly any.
Yeah. Well, Mike, I have been. There's a couple of little restaurants I use right next to the Crossrail station.
Oh, yeah.
Whenever that's going to open, for God's sake. But there's a lovely little. There's an Indian. There's a Sticks and Sushi. And when I've been in there, it's been full.
Right.
Been full. But they're very good. They're very strict washing and where you're sitting and who you're with. So they seem to. Of course, it's tiny compared in terms of percentage what is available, but what there is really good as quality.
Yeah, absolutely right. Now we're going to talk about this fantastic charity auction you're running in a minute, but let's talk about your new book, because you've got a new book coming out. I mean, you've already written 2 books. I mean, what's this one about?
Well, this one, talkSPORT said to me, why don't we do one? 40 years of football, and broadcasting, and there's so many stories, Mike, you forget about. God, so many.
Right.
And I went, let me have a think about it. And I thought, well, there's a lot of untold stories. And with a little bit of help from talkSPORT and a little bit of nudging, they said, come on, let's do it. And, there's 11 chapters. It's finished now, so it's quite funny. And there's also some stuff in there about football that I've not told before.
Yeah.
There's some stuff broadcasting from the early stages, 20 years at talkSPORT. How basically I got into it, which was an absolute fluke, to be honest. So
you tried to get out of it a few times as well, didn't you?
I think it'd be a good read. I'm pretty sure of it. And I'm doing an audio book, which I'm just about to finish.
Oh, good.
Which is much. I don't know if you've done one of them. It's a lot harder.
Yeah, you've got to read. Yeah, you've got to read out. You've got to read. It takes a long time as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, but you've got to get the mixture right. You've got to get the mixture right with fact, with humour, and also there's a lot of disappointments in there as well. So it's quite hard hitting in places. And there's a little bit of, not politics, but I give my view on what's going on. Not over the top, it's mainly sport and broadcasting.
Yeah. Well, the sport of football at the moment is pretty political, isn't it? Because there's talk of there being a big European league now. There's guys like Mesut Ozil. Mesut Ozil getting paid. People are saying to me, he's the only guy around in London who's got a better deal than you. He gets paid 350 grand a week to do nothing.
You're talking about with his bonus as well, I hope.
Yeah.
If he's going to catch me up, I wish. Now, we were talking about it this morning on of course, the Sports Breakfast. I don't feel sorry for him, but I think the club have a duty as well. I really do. I think they've got a duty to say, we don't want you now. Thank you for 8 great seasons, but with the greatest respect, we want you off the books, so we're going to pay you up. And you can go on and have 3-4 enjoyable years. Because he must be, I don't care how much money he's getting per week, Mike, he is made for life over and over.
Yeah.
So it's not the money it's bugging him. I think he likes London, and I think he feels strongly about not giving in. But also, what I found interesting, when he was talking about he's very unhappy with China at the moment, with their treatment of Muslims over there in certain parts of China. And he's hinting that that's got something to do with it.
Yeah.
That Arsenal's bigger reach all over the world globally.
Oh, really?
They don't want to fall out with China.
Wow.
So I think we're going to hear a lot more about that.
Interesting. And I mean, it must be tough for footballers as well right now. I mean, nobody's going to feel sorry for footballers. They make loads of money. But playing football without an audience, without a crowd, in a stadium, surely there must be some way that they can find a route around that to get some people into the stadiums.
Mike, I think off the top of my head, it might be the 9th of November. The MPs are going to debate it.
Yeah.
They're trying to find a way. But all I hear about, Mike, is, lockdown. Of course, it started with Manchester. Now it's Sheffield.
Yeah.
We know Merseyside's got it. Is London going to get it next? So I hope they're not wasting time trying to get fans into football games when we're going to go total lockdown, tier 3.
Right.
I hope not, but it's not the same, Mike. I'd be a liar if I say I'm enjoying my football.
Yeah.
We've seen incredible games.
I can't watch it.
I haven't enjoyed it. I haven't enjoyed it at all with no crowd.
No, I can't. I mean, I've literally stopped watching it because I just can't. It doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't look right. It looks like a trading game. It's very, very difficult.
No, and normally some of the games, we've got 3 crackers and game day tomorrow on talkSPORT.
Yeah.
But it's not the same without a full house. And some of the games we've had, they've been magnificent games. And it was just crying out for a full house, The Old Firm game, for instance, last week, no one there.
Right.
It's not the same, Mike.
No.
It's so hopefully we can resolve it. But it's interesting. Arsene Wenger was a guest of mine on the show. And I'm not having a go at Arsene because I really enjoyed the interview and he sounds a real gentleman. But he had a do at the London Palladium. There's over 3,000 people there. So I can't get my head around how they can do it in a football stadium which is open air.
Right.
We can't. I don't get it.
No, it doesn't make any sense. Let's talk about this extraordinary charity auction that you're going to be doing, live from the 22nd of October to the 8th of November, raising funds for children and young adults with disabilities and life-limiting illnesses. It's all associated with Ed Sheeran. Tell us about it.
Now, this is brilliant. This is a lady, Gina Long, who did a lot of fundraising for Sir Bobby Robson and his charity. Gina's now an MBE, I believe, or OBE. But she's one of these ladies. When she gets her claws into you, you have had it. There is no letting go, let me tell you. She is, in behalf of charities, she is magnificent. And she's talked to Ed Sheeran, of course, who's a Framlingham boy.
Yes.
Framlingham Castle, Framlingham College. And he loves the area, so he's moved back with his wife. And what he's done here, this book, I don't know if you can see it. It's very difficult, but lovely picture. There's some of the prizes in here, the auction, are magnificent. I mean, to see Bercelli, some brilliant racing, football, prints, artwork. Cricket, football. You can't believe how many people are given to this fantastic. It's called G-Whiz.
Yeah.
And I kid you not, they're going to raise a fortune. I think they need to raise 350 grand, Mike.
Wow.
And from what I've seen in this book, that'll be done no problem. It is really worth a look. So it's G-Whiz, it's Ed Sheeran, made in Suffolk, his legacy auction. And I kid you not, I've seen a lot of things where you say, oh, that'll go for a few quid. Not sure. Most of the stuff in here is unique. It's brilliant.
It's really good. I'm going to try. If you can tweet it out, Al, I'll make sure that we retweet it and get people watching it as well. And as far as your kind of your family goes, everybody's fine. Everybody's still kind of
yeah. Well,
working.
my youngest, a doctor in the local hospital in Ipswich, and she's fine. She says it's getting busier, Dad, recently, but Suffolk is still very, very low in terms of the heat maps we keep seeing.
Yeah.
But they are getting ready for more. I don't want to alarm people. I'm not doing that. But in this part of the world, people seem to be behaving. It's not as densely populated, of course. And I'm 15 minutes from the coast. I'm 15 minutes from Felixstowe and round the corner with beautiful Aldeburgh, Southwold. So people can get fresh air here without having to drive too far. And there's no raves, there's no mad pubs, there's no parties. People are taking it very, very serious. So thank God we're okay.
Yeah.
My other two, one works in London. She designs bags, Radley handbags. She's a senior designer there. And my oldest girl has got 3 daughters of her own. So she's been very careful with them. And in fact, we used to see them all the time. We've got to calm down a little bit now. Yeah,
well, exactly. You've got to look forward to hopefully being able to spend a decent Christmas with everybody as well.
Well, Mike, I think that's why we might, the whole country, I'm only guessing here, might have a 2-week, 3-week shutdown so that it might just give us a chance of having a proper Christmas. But where I am, Mike, I'm between Colchester and Ipswich, so I'm very close to the Essex border, even though I'm in Suffolk. And it's amazing, people, the other side of the river, they've got totally different rules to what we have here. If I want to go to the pub and have a meal, it's so much easier than it is 5-minute drive from where I am, which I find really, I feel a bit sorry for them.
Yes. Well, I saw a story the other day about this little town in Shropshire where there's a tiny little footbridge, and on one side of the bridge they're in tier 2, and on the other side of the bridge they're in tier 1. And most of the people live on tier 2, so they're not allowed to go to tier 1 to have, it's very bizarre. But I mean, we're all in the same boat.
I honestly think that's where common sense must surely come in. I promise you.
Yeah.
It must come in, Mike, for God's sake. If you're talking about 2-3 miles away or 2-3 minutes away, I find that very difficult, and because my girls two of my girls live in Essex. So, we have to be very careful when we meet and see each other. It's really difficult.
Absolutely. Well, luckily, Al, this is the home of common sense, so you've come to the right place. And listen, I'm going to... Go on.
I was going to say, that is what is missing. And without getting political, I look at Parliament, I look at the arguments going on, and that's the key words that are missing for me. It can't be easy being the Prime Minister, and it can't be easy if Labour were in as well. Whoever's got this job at the moment, it can't be easy. But I do think we've missed a lot of common sense where it's got too political, when instead of taking a firm hand and saying, this is what we must do, this is what we're going to do to ease this, let's get on with it, stop arguing, we're doing it. Instead of, fudging around what we should do, what we might not, we might have to do this. I think that's where people are alarmed, and people, Mike, are getting a little bit agitated, fed up, and maybe going off the rails a wee bit. I think we have to be a little bit firm, tough, if we want to get through Christmas. I really do. And by the way, I understand. I was in Spain not that long ago, and I had to come back for 2 weeks and go nowhere. And by the 10th, 11th day, I was walking up the walls, I swear to you.
I bet.
Honestly, my wife, I don't mind telling you, my wife took all my car keys away. She went out for the day. I thought, right, where's my car? She's nicked my key. Where's the spare car? My daughter's old car. That had gone. Where's the motorhome car?
Right.
That had gone. I was even going to take the bloody lawnmower. She'd nicked that key as well, Mike. So I can get to the golf club.
Shocking.
But I'm glad she did, because I shouldn't have done it, and I didn't do it.
No, well, good for you, Alan. Alan Brazil, one of the great characters of radio, of course, and of football and of sport. Thank you very much for spending time with us, Alan. There's an amazing legacy auction, which is hoping to raise money for disadvantaged children and young adults with disabilities. We'll be posting out that link so that you can get a look at what you can get your hands on. It's a charity auction. It's taking place as of sort of now until the 8th of November.